Did you know that according to Jesus, if you were never taught religious instruction or you were never taught about God or about even Jesus himself, that you wouldn't be held accountable for maybe not being a Christian or rejecting God or learning certain rules and teachings about that religion, right? So, according to Jesus, in John chapter 9, he's having a disagreement with some people, right? Some Pharisees. And he says this. He says, "For judgment I have come into this world, so that the blind will see, and those who see will become blind." Some Pharisees who were with him heard him say this and asked, "What, are we blind too?" Jesus said, "If you were blind, you would not be guilty of sin. But now that you claim you can see, your guilt remains." So this is also consistent with some of Paul's teachings. Paul says, "I was alive once apart from the law, but when the commandment came, sin sprang into my life and I died." That means that when the commandment came and actually made him aware of sin, he died. He can no longer live his life the way that he wanted to live it. So again, Paul in Romans chapter 4, 15, he also says, he says, "Because the law brings wrath, and where there is no law, there is no transgression." That means that if you do not know about religious instruction, or that you have not been made aware that something is a sin, let's say like eating certain foods, or practicing a certain holiday, or whatever it is, even knowing about Jesus, that you cannot be held accountable for that. Um, Religion has this kind of effect on people. Um, when we're born, we know nothing but to live life freely, just to live it. But when religious instruction comes, somebody comes telling you that something is wrong to do, that you cannot live a certain way, or you cannot do a certain something, then it becomes a sin for you, because you have been convinced, your conscience has been tainted. Um, so there's a lot of things in this world that are not sin. Being LGBTQ, all that stuff. It's natural for a lot of people to be that way, and they have been tainted by someone else's views and religious instruction. There's a lot of things that aren't wrong, but we just have to pay attention to these things that have been said in order to free ourselves from this prison in our minds. We have become enemies of God in our minds, but in our minds only. You got to free yourself. The knowledge will set you free.